Hi everybody, Steve Degnan, Advisor Board Member, former Chief HR Officer, coming to you from a secure, undisclosed location away from the snow. And today I have a promotable and fireproof quick take for you on listening. And we'll call this Shut Up and Listen. I'll revolve it around three stories, three principles. First one's for everybody. Second two are for leaders, but I think everybody can learn from them. First one, about my friend, former mentor, overall good guy, Phil Meister, who ran a distribution center where I was new as a shift supervisor back in 1993 and had come out of manufacturing occasionally and later in the evening. And even though he didn't need to stay late, Phil would come out around 7 p.m., 6 o'clock, 7 p.m., and just hang out and just ask me open-ended questions and sit there and be present. And a lot of times it was work related. He tried to slip in some lessons about how logistics and distribution centers are run. A lot of times it was just family stuff or general BS. And now, what was the point? What was the principle here? Phil made me feel like I counted. He made me feel seen and heard. And that's it. And being present like that inspired a ton of loyalty. And here I am 30 years later still talking about it. Next. There's a lady named Cam Sterrett, a great chief HR officer that I worked with and for years ago. And as I worked my way up in that same company, and Cam would run her leadership team meetings in a certain way where when there was a big issue, like a certain critical issue, she would require everyone to weigh in, and she would do it methodically. She'd go around the room one by one and make everybody weigh in on whatever the key issue of the day was. Now, what's the principles there? Number one, being curious. She wanted to know what everybody thought. Number two, making everybody feel heard certainly was part of that. Number three, it inspired some accountability among the people in the room because you couldn't just be quiet and sort of not weigh in. And also, I'd say finally, on a practical basis, she would probably hear and find ideas. And I adopted this tactic from time to time throughout my career too. It was a good one. Third and final example, Martin Holford, who was the head of manufacturing that I worked for in that same company. Martin would allow a lot of venting with this certain group that he had to manage, which was a disparate group of manufacturing leaders, all in the same kind of decentralized structure of a business, and they all had sort of loose reporting up to him. And he had to get them to work together on certain corporate initiatives. And a lot of times they didn't want to do that because these initiatives conflicted with things they were trying to get done in their own part of the business. And me as a younger HR person at the time, I would watch these guys kind of go nuts in these meetings and wonder, what the hell is the big deal here? But in hindsight, I can see that the venting allowed a lot of legitimate issues to be aired and common frustrations found. And eventually there was some esprit de corps that came from that, and they got a lot done together. And Martin was wise enough to let them vent. Okay, so those are the big three: being present, being methodical, and making sure everybody's heard, number two. And then number three, allowing some venting every so often is a good thing. Final thought: if you're a leader and you're running any meeting and you're the one doing most of the talking, it would be a rare time where that's appropriate. If you're sharing vital information, okay. Other than that, if you're doing a monologue for more than 15 or 20 minutes, you're doing it wrong. So you need to learn to step aside.